Hi guys, I'm Bobsi, and this video is a little bit different. I'm essentially going to show you the new sample of PurrNet that I've been working on, and also just noting really quickly that this video is just completely winged. There is no big preparation, anything like that. I'm really just mumbling while going through the project and showing you a bit of what there is, which is what there also is in written form in the docs. And it's really just a simple showcase of a little incremental game with PurrNet where you essentially can move around. It's of course all multiplayer. You can dash into trees and whatnot to pick them up. And yeah, you can suck up the trees and then you can put them back into your base. And that's essentially it. And then you can go in here and you can upgrade your move speed, dash range, damage, whatever. It's a bunch of upgrades. And it's essentially just a simple little sample to show what's pretty much like a full gameplay loop of just a simple little game. Everything also has audio and that works networked, so you might have been able to hear the little plops when I pick up things or when I dash, when I hit trees, stuff like that. And yeah, so everything should hopefully work as a simple example for you guys to see how you can work with PurrNet very easily. Also, important to mention that there is two different pages that might be relevant for you depending on where you might have seen this otherwise. We have on the Git page, right now I'm in the editing side of it, but under full game guides, incremental game sample, you can see there's potentially a page here that goes through everything in text, as people have been asking for more written samples. Now, this isn't a how to make everything guide. This is more just a very simple overview of what is in the project, and the project is really intended for you to explore. So the way that you get it running is you go onto the Git page and you essentially either download the code or you clone it as you would normally clone a repo, and then you'll open it likely in Unity 6. It's not tested in Unity 5, but given it's using the rigid body, I imagine there might be slight compiler errors, but they'd be easily fixable for Unity 5 as well. And essentially then, yeah, just go nuts. Don't be afraid to just play around with it. Everything is just set up using the simple normal network manager setup, and there's also simple player spawner. It's just PurrNet's player spawner, so everything here is just as you might know it already in PurrNet if you're familiar with it. And if not, I recommend you go and watch some of the getting started videos of PurrNet, or potentially actually the only multiplayer video you'll need or something like that. I can't remember what I called it, but it's one of the bigger videos on my channel. And so yeah, just going through it very quickly. Let's start with the player. If we go into the prefabs and have a look at the player, it's this simple little one, and all the assets are from Kenny, by the way, so they're free to use assets, and Kenny has some great stuff, which I can always really recommend. And you can see that the player is set up with the networked state machine that comes with PurrNet, and he has a few states. He has the movement state, the dashing state, and the sucking state. And essentially, they're all very, very simple, and I've tried to keep everything quiet down to basics, so hopefully it should make sense. I haven't commented all around the place. If this is something people really want, then of course I can go through and do that. But in general, hopefully it should be fairly readable code and pretty simple. So you can see there's some stuff that runs when we enter it, then we start listening to a certain input, and we exit the state, we stop listening to a certain input. And yeah, essentially just so on and so forth. You can see some things happen when the state update, we handle the movement, and we move around and so on. This is not a video meant to go through every single little thing, just to show you how you sort of explore the project. And you should hopefully be able to see how I do everything. And again, as mentioned, all the scripts should be fairly short. I try to avoid making huge scripts. The only thing that might be a bit hefty is the resource spawner, because I really wanted it to essentially be an infinite world. So if we actually go here, and let me also start my client. So as he moves around, if we go out into the scene view here, let's try and zoom way out. You can see as I move him around on my other client, you can see how the trees sort of dynamically populate with the noise pattern, and they also remove themselves for performance reasons, obviously, so we don't have lingering trees that we really don't need. And there's things like how many can spawn per frame and stuff like that to try and just help your performance a little bit. Mind you, I don't think this is necessarily a fully production-ready project, anything like that. It's really just meant to show you very easily how can you make a quick game sample. And for some context as well, I made this in about a day. So you can work really efficiently with PurrNet. Like everything works with multiplayer, we have audio, I think it's decently polished, we have an actual gameplay loop, and all of that is something you can pretty much do within a day. Now, obviously, mind you, I'm also very used to working with PurrNet, given I've made the system together with Valentin. But still, I think it's good to note that it's quite an efficient workflow. So yeah, there's that little resource spawner, and that essentially works on layer-based behaviors, which is something I've started really liking recently. The layer-based behaviors is essentially, well, it's pretty much what it is, so you can layer behavior, right? So you can see in this case, I have a tree spawning layer, which you could technically use to spawn other prefabs too. It doesn't have to be just trees to get them in part of this noise map. But let's say you wanted custom spawning behavior for something else. Let's say, for example, you wanted to spawn villages or whatever around the place. You could essentially add it as a layer into the resource spawner, and it'll sort of keep that layer in mind as well and go through the layers one by one and figure out what exactly should spawn. And then they can all have each their own settings, or maybe you want rocks to spawn in separate formations from the trees and stuff like that, which will allow you to do that with some layer-based behavior. And you can see the spawning layer itself is extremely simple. I think that's a pretty hopefully straightforward setup to some extent. Then there's the player upgrades. That's also just scriptable-based. This is all something I threw on rather quickly, so there's a good chance you can do something better. I just made sync wires out of each of the different level stuff, and then when you buy them, they level up. And as you can see, they're also scriptables, and they have essentially some math in here on how they choose to scale over time and such. So every time you buy an upgrade, it'll essentially let me actually show you. It'll essentially just get, dynamically more expensive, and it'll dynamically populate itself. So it's this little button to give myself wood. And then you can see as I buy more damage, you can see how it gets more incrementally expensive. And that's essentially just dynamically calculated. And so is this. And you can see essentially how the math is on how the stat goes up. So you can see damage only goes up by 1. That's because it has a stat base of 1. It multiplies by 1 to the power of 1, which means it goes up with 1 for every upgrade. And then you can see how the cost increments as well. So we have a base cost of 20, and it increments with 50% every time you click it, or something along those lines. Plus, of course, the level taken into account. Cool. So hopefully that makes sense. That's the goal, at least. But yeah, really all of this to say you should just discover it. I made a little very simple network audio handling, because, for example, when you hit trees and they actually disappear after you've hit them enough. So again, let me just buy a bunch of damage here so we don't have to hit them a whole bunch. Let me go buy the upgrade, bunch of damage. Let me go hit the trees. They have 10 health from the beginning. I go and I hit and I hit. You can hear how the audio keeps going after I've hit it, like the wood hitting sound, stuff like that. We wouldn't want it cutting off, so that's why I have this little sort of pool of audio. So this creates just a little pool of 5 things that will go around and make audio for you so it doesn't cut out, and that works fully networked. So that's just an easy call to call play clip, and then it'll play the clip at the position at the given pitch. And this utilizes the network assets of PurrNet, where you can see that we can just now send audio over the network very easily, because they're just in this list. They're just in the filter type of audio clip. So if you add more audio clips into the add folder, it'll just auto-populate itself, and that audio should work over the network. Also looking at the actual setup of the resources themselves, so you can see we have the trees here, which are just really a simple collider and a base Minable script. So I just made this simple Minable, which could be anything. It could be rocks or whatever you want to do it, or you could inherit from it. And this will essentially handle... Oh yeah, actually I completely forgot about this. But yeah, this will essentially handle everything there is to do with the trees. I actually forgot that I made them flash, I think. Oh no, that one. This one here. Oop. I made them actually flash when you hit them. I completely forgot about that. I guess the renderer has to go. There you go. Now they do a little flash if you want them to as well. I'm not sure I necessarily like it, but the functionality is there nonetheless. Let me keep that off. But yeah, you have the basic trees. You can see how much health they have, and their where their loot essentially spawns. And then the type of loot that they'll drop. And in this case, you can see this is just the loot of type tree, which is really just a rigid body with a network transform. And the simple way that it works when you're picking up loot, let me give myself a bunch of damage again. Like that. And essentially the way it works when I pick up loot is that I become the owner of it. So I take ownership now of the tree, which means now I'm able to move it. If somebody else started trying to suck it up afterwards, they'll take ownership, and then they'll be able to move the tree. Same thing really goes when you hit trees. You essentially take ownership of the trees, and then you just change the sync var on them to control their health. So it's a super basic, super naive setup. So if we go into the Minable again, I completely forgot. Boop on dash hit, you can essentially see it just gives ownership to yourself because you just hit it, and then you just change the value of the sync var, and if that value goes down to below or equal to 0, then it'll die, spawn its drops, and destroy itself. And also important to note that everything out of the box is pooled, so even though you can see it's just using destroy, for example, and same thing, it'll use instantiate when it spawns the drops. It's instantiate, but they are, because of the network prefabs, you can see that the loot tree is pooled, the tree is pooled, and the tree 2 is pooled. So all these things are fully pooled as well automatically, which should really make it more performant as well. And yeah, and it can also work with persistence if you'd like. So for example, if I go to the unsafe persistent rules and I have the other client here now join, you can now see he can move around, go over here, and then I have him disconnect. You can see he sticks around now, he joins, and now he's back and able to play again. So yeah, that should all work pretty well. So hopefully, I mean, this was obviously a very simple video showcase just to show this funny little simple sample that I built. And hopefully it should be very easy for you guys to work with yourselves and play around with, and yeah, essentially just try it for yourself, learn something new. Let me know if there's anything missing, something I'm not going over well enough. Obviously everything is quite surface level because it is fully just intended for you to experiment with and feel free. And yeah, everything right now, some things are just fairly shortcut, like for example the base. You can see that's just running on a sync var of how much wood has gone in there. So every time it puts some loot in there, it just counts up the wood. And that just goes to the UI essentially. Here it goes to the HUD view, updates the wood count, and then it'll update the wood count. And I just made my own very simple tweens. I don't think they're the most performant thing in the whole world, but they do the job for little animations and making the UI feel more satisfying, which I think is fitting for the game. So yeah, let me know if there's something that's needed, something I haven't covered. Sorry, this might have been kind of a messy video. I just really wanted to showcase something new that I've been working on, and yeah, really just feel out and see what you guys think, and if we should bring more samples to PurrNet, if that's a good way for you to learn, then please do let us know in the comments. And other than that, I hope that you have a wonderful day. Please do leave a like, comment, and subscribe.